it's Ashley at Bookishrealm, and I'm back with another video. So today I'm here to do a video that I actually love watching from creators. Not necessarily specific because of the number, but I love when creators do these like last things that they want to get to before the end of the year, because it's just kind of like when we get into October, we realize it's the last quarter of the year. And so we start thinking heavily about like how much of our reading goals have we actually accomplished? What books are we going to try to like push it through, make it through by the end of the year? And so I like watching videos like that. Like, what are your final goals? How are your goals looking like wrapping up? I know we do a lot of mid-year, but the final parts of the year, it's like it's getting down to the wire, and I absolutely love that. So today I'm going to be talking about 10 books that I'm trying to read before the end of the year. A couple of these are rereads for me, and some of them are new to me, ones that I've been looking at for a couple of months now that I haven't gotten to, that I really need to make it to, as I lean, wet it, rock, wet it, lean, wet it, rock, wet it, lean, wet it, rock, wet. Okay, whatever, beside the point. So I have 10 books here that I'm going to be talking about briefly to let you know that these are the 10 books that I want to read before we get to the 31st of December. Will I make it through these? I may need to do a check-in at the end of the year and see if I make it through these. Or if I just pick to read one of these like a week until the end of the year, like I actually will be good. I can get it done. But y'all don't want to hear all of that. Anyway, let's get started. So the first book that I have on my list is Fablehaven by Brandon Mull. I have not read a Brandon Mull book yet. And it's extremely unfortunate that I haven't read a Brandon Mull book yet because of the fact that I own so many of his books. I own 2 of his box sets, so those are 5 books a piece. I own this one, which is the first in the Fablehaven series, and then I also own both of his books in the Candy Shop Wars. Brandon Mull is often cited as kind of like the equivalent, the middle grade equivalent of Brandon Sanderson. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I've always been told. I don't know how true that is, but we shall see. But Fablehaven focuses on 2 kids who don't realize that their grandfather is a caretaker. I can't believe I was supposed to say caretaker or keeper or guardian of Fablehaven, which is a place where all mystical creatures are kept in order to prevent them from going extinct. However, something goes left, as things do in these books. Things always go left in these books. So something goes left, and then they are tasked with attempting to save Fablehaven, their family, and possibly the entire world. The next one that I have, I think is really interesting, and one that I have definitely had my eyes on for a minute now. And this is The Last Beekeeper by Pablo Cartaya, and this focuses on a main character by the name of Yolanda, who is in this alternate version of our world. It is our world, but it's set in the future, and things are not good. And I'm guessing that this is going to have a lot to do with the current environmental issues that we are facing globally. So she lives in this place called the Valley, and the whole entire valley is just a really rough place to live. It is harsh in terms of weather, the whole 9. And so she knows that she wants to get a better experience and get better schooling and end up going to Silo, which is a different part of this world that is known to have the best and the brightest. But then it comes down to her parents are unable to continue to fund her schooling, and so she makes her way somehow into, I believe she makes her way into Silo, if I'm not mistaken, and then she finds out that it has some long guarded secrets. Then we get to the point where things, as in Fablehaven, go completely left, and she discovers that the long extinct honeybee may be the key to everyone's survival. So definitely going to be some commentary there on our treatment of the environment, especially with honeybees. I don't see bees anymore. I don't see bees like I used to when I was younger, and so I am really intrigued by this one. So this is one that I'm really intrigued by this one. This is a big nonfiction. So with this one, I'm definitely going to end up doing a blended read, and that is White Trash, The 400-Year Untold History of Class in America by Nancy Eisenberg. This looks at the structure of our class system here in America while looking at groups that are often associated with white trash, like Duck Dynasty, Honey Boo Boo. She uses a popular culture, political rhetoric to dispel the myths that we are a class-free society. I know that a couple of people have read this. I know Mara from Books Like Whoa has read this one, and so I'm very interested in picking it up. I actually got my copy for $1 at a used bookstore. It's not long, but it's, you know, nonfiction can be kind of dense when it wants to be. And the note section alone, then this is how thick the note section is. So that's not even the link. The actual book itself is just a little over 300 pages, but it's a lot of notes attached to it. But I am extremely excited to get to this one. The next one that I have on this list is something that's a book that I've definitely been wanting to read a lot, or read for a while, and that is True Biz by Sarah Novick. This is a story that follows 3 different characters at a school, a residential school for the deaf. It is a book about lip reading, sign language, disability. This book just sounds phenomenal, and all 3 of our main characters just come from so many different backgrounds. We have a main character who's never met another deaf person. One of our main characters is a headmistress who's trying to keep the school open while also trying to save her marriage at the same time. And then we have another main character who is, you know, the hot boy at the school, hot boy, golden boy, whatever you want to call him. And he finds out that his sister is born and she's hearing, and so that changes the entire landscape of his life. I have heard good things about this one. I'm looking forward to picking it up. I also have The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. This is one that I meant to pick up. I was doing a buddy read of this with Erica and a host of other people. I did end up reading The Poppy War this year, but I did not get the chance to pick up The Dragon Republic. I ended up having a lot going on. This was during like the height of me actually looking for a house, and so my life got a little bit busy during that period, and I never was able to go back to picking up The Dragon Republic. So Erica and I were just talking about this the other night, and I was like, you know, I don't like to say that I enjoyed my read of The Poppy War, because it's not something that you enjoy, but I thought it was just a interesting reading experience, and it was a 4-star read for me. So I'm looking forward to picking up The Dragon Republic and seeing what it has to offer. This one is long. It's 654 pages, and I thought that The Poppy War was long. And y'all know this is kind of like a big deal for me because I don't read a lot of adult fantasy, and The Poppy War was a lot in terms of like content warnings. So I'm nervous about how this one is going to come at me in terms of content warnings. I was thinking, because I also was talking to Erica about this, and I'm Erica from The Broken Spine, by the way, who I will link down in the description box below. I was talking to her about the fact that I think I may want to go back and reread The Poppy War, just so I can flow right into each story. There's 3 of these, and they're all fairly a good size, but I'm thinking if I read The Poppy War this month, if I read The Dragon Republic next month, and then read, why couldn't I remember, The Burning God? Why couldn't I remember it in December, that I would be good to go. I like that this whole entire narrative contains gray or morally gray characters. I like a good morally gray character. Not everybody is likable. Our main character is not always likable, and I actually enjoy that as a reader. So I had to add this one to the list for the sake of the fact that Erica had been trying to get me to read The Poppy War since last year, and I didn't do it. She finally got me to read The Poppy War this year, and I rated it pretty high, and now I'm kind of like, listen, come on, Ash, you got to keep going. So this is also going to be a reread for me because I need to finish the series. I have not been doing good with my read of Christina C. Jones's backlist. Izzy is doing an excellent job. Izzy from Happy for Now, she's doing an excellent job making her way through her backlist. I think it's a handful of us who are trying to make it through Christina's backlist, but she writes so damn fast that it's almost like I don't think I'll ever be able to catch up. But one series that I would like to finish out before the year ends is her the series is not called Auntie Up. I can't remember the name of the series. I'll put it on the screen, but I would like it to finish the series before the end of the year. I read Auntie Up last year and really enjoyed it. This is one of her darker books. I would consider this one to be more of a dark romance, which she's usually known for writing more light contemporary. Not saying that the themes are not heavy, but more on the contemporary side than dark romance, although now she has more dark romance. And so you see what I'm saying? Like, she writes so daggone fine. She writes in a lot of subgenres of romance, let's just put it that way. And so I read Auntie Up, which focuses on 2 characters, Asha and King, and it takes place in Vegas. They both have some stakes in playing poker, but also in playing poker with each other, and not the card game, but poker of their feelings. And I love that paralleling of like them playing poker in real life, but also having poker in a non-literal sense of how they were hiding their feelings from each other. This is definitely dark in a lot of different ways, but this was like a 4.5 star read when I read it. And I do have the novella that comes after this one, and then the final book, which is Deuces Wild. So I plan to also, I want to physically own all of Christina C. Jones's books that she puts out in print. But I cannot justify buying anymore until I complete the ones in print that I have on my shelf that I have not read. And I've read a lot of Christina C. Jones, but you know how that goes with me. The next thing that I have on my list is going to be a reread. I already read this book. I read this book this year. This is one of my favorite books of this year. I read this initially by listening to it on audio and loved it. Joya Goffney is an auto-buy author. I read her first book, which is, and of course I can't, excuse me while I ugly cry. I'm like, why can't I can't remember anything tonight. So I read her first book, Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry. Loved that one. Read this one, loved it even more. This focuses on a main character who has attempted to have sex with her boyfriend multiple times. It's over 20 at the start of this novel, and he decides to break things off. And so she tries to figure out what's wrong with her because she physically cannot have sex. Like, she physically, it's painful and she can't do it. So she's trying to figure out what is going on with her physically, that she can't have sex. And this is such a sex positive book, but also it is a good look at purity culture and the negative aspects when we push certain rhetoric, how it can not only psychologically impact us, but also physically impact us. And we see that definitely with our main character in this book. It does have a romance that works so well, the development of a friendship that I absolutely love. 5-star read. This is, I love that this is talking about purity culture from the perspective of Black kids, because when people think purity culture, a lot of times they think about it with white kids, and I'm not gonna even front and sit here and say that's not true. But purity culture also is a big thing in the Black community, especially when you think about Southern churches and Black people. And I don't want to just say Baptist, because it's not only Baptists that do this, there's Pentecostal who do, like, there's so many different sects of Christianity that do this, but Black kids also deal with purity culture. And so it was nice to see a Black girl like dealing with that, like that commentary on purity culture, but exploring her body in such a positive way. Oh, I love this book so freaking much. When I do my top books of 2022, this book is going to be on the list. I just want to reread it before the end of the year so that I can annotate it. Really. That's all. I know I'm going to love it, because why would I not? But I just want to reread it so I can annotate it. Next one that I have on my list is one that I read a long time ago. The last time I read this book was before I even had my daughter, so that was 3 years ago. The second book is already out, and the third book is coming out April, I believe, of next year. And that is Kingdom of Souls by Rena Barron. I had been, it was my intention so badly to read the second book last year. But before I read the second book, I really, really wanted to do a reread of this first book, because while I remember some things that happened in it, I don't remember everything that happened in it. And so I definitely wanted to dive into this one again before I went into the second one. This is definitely a darker YA fantasy book. It deals a lot with gods and deities and has a hell of a twist at the end. I remember the twist of this book and I was like, oh my god. It has a lot to do with our main character, who is supposed to have magical abilities and she doesn't. Every year passes and she just doesn't have any magical abilities. And so there is this evil character, somebody who is a child snatcher. And so what she can do is she can sell years of her life to the charlatans, and it would help her have the magic to be able to capture this person. But the catch with selling your years is that you never know how many years of your life they're taking until after it's said and done. So you're running a risk. Like, you know, they could be like, oh, I'll just take 1 year, and then they could be like, no, I'm taking 30. So but it's so much more complicated. It's a lot. It's a lot. it's a lot that happens in this book. And so I really did enjoy it when I read it, but it's been so long since I've read it that I need to do a reread so I can dive into the second one, because like I said, the third one does come out next year. I know that Rena Barron has definitely she's been heavily focusing on her middle grade series, which is Maya and the Rising Dark. I think that's the name of the series. Whatever, y'all. I'm being horrible right now with remembering series names, but she's been focusing on her middle grade series mostly for the past couple years. And so I know that I think it's going to be 4 books in this series, but I know that we do get the third one next year. Okay, so the next one that I have here is the Firekeepers Daughter by Angeline Booley, who is coming out with a new book soon. This is just I hate that sticker, that Reese's sticker. I didn't even see if I could, it came off. I don't know why I never took off Reese's sticker. I don't like that. Don't like that at all. So this is one that I've been meaning to pick up for a very, very long time. I've heard nothing but phenomenal things about Firekeeper's Daughter, and I know that it's going to be an exceptional book. Why I haven't read this one yet, I don't know. I feel like I keep putting it off, but I know that it is time for me to read it because it is comes so heavily recommended. I know that it has some mystery elements to it where our main character ends up working a little bit, I believe, with the FBI, if I'm not mistaken. And well, at least she's interfering in an FBI investigation of a new lethal drug. And so I'm looking forward to really reading this, y'all. I really am. I think it's going to be an exciting read, and I highly doubt that it's going to be a disappointment. There's too many people who speak too highly of this one. The next one that I have on this list is one that I've been meaning to read for forever, because the 8th book, or the 9th book, the 9th book comes out next month. These are some chunky middle grade books. This is the Keeper of the Lost Cities book. This is the first one by Shannon Messenger, and this focuses on a young girl by the name of Sophie, who's she's a telepath, so she can, hear thoughts and stuff. She's always been an outcast, and she meets another boy, and his name is Fitz, and he also can read minds. And so they are whisked off to life in a new place that's different from her own, where more stuff like that is a little bit more on the normal side, where it's not normal in our world. I've heard fabulous things about this series. Just starting the series, I can tell you exactly why I haven't read this one and why I'm trying to charge myself with reading this one by the end of the year. This series is a commitment, okay? It's a commitment because these books are like 800 pages, 900 pages. Like, these are chunky books, but I've heard that they're quick reads and they're really good. And so I am ready to begin my journey finally, not punking out. I'm finally ready to begin my journey of reading these. This first one is almost 500 pages within itself, but shoot, let's just get with the program. Let's get it going. Let's get it on. Let's get it popping. All right, y'all. So those are the 10 books that I want to read before 2022 ends. I can't reckon with the fact that 2022 is ending. I don't know how I feel about that, but it's coming to a close, and I have to reckon with the fact that we're running into 2023. It's weird. It's so weird. Anyway, let me know in the comments below what you plan on reading before the year ends, or if you have like an anticipated release that you're looking forward to reading before the year ends. As always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, click the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Looking for ways to support the channel, follow me on social media. All the links are down in the description box below, and I will be back with another video soon. Toodles.